Hello, and welcome to A Few Minutes With. Today we're talking to Brian Thomas, Principal of DP3 Architects in Greenville, South Carolina. Hello, Brian. Can you tell us a little bit about bars, about where you would place a bar within a restaurant?
Hey Amanda, thanks for having me today. Sure, it really depends on the type of restaurant and the type of traffic you're trying to have in your bar. If you are a restaurant that is trying to promote high energy from the moment you walk in the door, you want that bar front and center. You want it to be seen, if not immediately when you come in the front door, definitely from the waiting area, so that as a place to pause before you get your dinner, while you're waiting for a table, you hop in there, or if you're just coming for the energy of the bar, there's no reason to actually engage with the restaurant. If you're trying to get a more quiet, intimate setting, that bar may be in the back. It may be more of a focal visual feature than an actual energy grabber. So it really depends on the type of restaurant where you are going to put it. There have been many restaurants, if you look at the old casual dining model, they had that thing right in the center of all the action. And it was really a bar with some auxiliary seating. Even though it was a lot of seating, that was really the intent of it. But now as we're looking for more of this separation in a lot of restaurants where you want the two different activity zones going on. So up front is usually the best place for something like that.
And Brian, the most visible part of a bar is the back bar where
Mhm.
bottles are. What's the best kind of design tactic for those? Are there certain rules you abide by, or how do you design those?
Well, a lot of that comes down to lighting, depending on, light will accentuate that focal point. Wherever you want that focal point to be, that's where you aim your lighting. So you want to have a nice little glow at the front of the bar, so people, if there's menus, they can read menus and still engage with the people next to them. But that back bar is really where your showcase is. If you are big into high-end liquors, high-end bourbons, high-end scotch, whatever, you're going to want to accentuate those, put those front and center, and have those well lit so that the guests' eyes are immediately drawn to those. If you want a lot of activity there, if you're a sports bar, that's where your televisions are going to be. They're going to be along that back bar. So all of your energy and your focus is inward towards that back bar. If you're looking for something just a little more subtle, it may be just artwork that you put back there. Not necessarily pictures, but you might have a nice couple pieces of sculpture or something that, again, you can light from above, light from below, depending how you do it. But I always like to do the back bars a little bit unevenly lit so you have those zones of excitement. One area may really pop with lighting and the other area may be a little subdued. How you light your bottles, if you are liquor forward and you're really trying to accentuate the different types of liquor that you have, those may be lit from below on a lighted liquor tier. They may be indirectly lit from lights above and shining on those. But the light really plays on where that focus is going to be, and that's what makes your back bar pop.
In a bar, Brian, it's obviously such a focal point for the eyes. Do you like to have some kind of wow moment, either in that back bar or even down to a vase of beautiful flowers? Is it nice to have something that stands out?
I think it is because that's really where 90% of your vision is in a bar. Unless you're at a table behind the bar talking to someone next to you, most of your focus is at the bar. You're either trying to see what beers they have on tap, what liquors they serve, trying to engage with the bartender, watching TVs or something back there. So yes, I do think you want to have some pieces that if you're looking back there, your eye has some activity and can keep moving, from one piece to another, and every scene that you're creating is different no matter where you're looking on that back bar. So it is very important to take that design into consideration.
And Brian, what about the bar front or the bar die, which can be covered by chair, stool legs, people's legs? Do you like
Mhm.
to make that interesting, or is that not worth paying a lot of attention to since it is typically covered?
That's a great question that we go back and forth on here a lot. If you're doing a great bar business, you've got legs and you've got people in front of the bar, so you're really not seeing what the material is. It is an opportunity to use a lesser material because it's not really a touch point. But if you have lit that well, there have been a lot of successful bars that have a strip light underneath the bar top that make that entire area glow. That adds definitely a piece of activity, and it turns it into kind of a jewel in the middle of that bar area. But some of the things, there's a lot that goes on underneath the bar that you don't want to see. You don't want to see shoes. Most people, you don't want to see their legs. You've got purse hooks, you've got coats hanging. So as well as you design it, somebody is always going to put something in front of it under the bar. So you don't have to spend as much money on the bar drywall as you would on the back bar, the bar top, the bar area itself.
Well, finally, Brian, what about seating? Do you like to have a variety of seating in a bar?
I think you do. And again, it goes back to what you're using your bar for. If your bar is more than just a resting area before you go get your meal and people are actually going to sit there for a while and engage, I do think you want some different types of seating. You can have loose seating out behind the bar. You can have booths, you can have high tops, you can have low tops. Low tops are a little bit difficult because one of the things you want in the bar is the eye levels to be looking at something attractive. And when you have low seating behind a somebody in a bar stool, you know what you're looking at. So it's not always you're not always putting your best foot forward, so to speak. So you do have to be strategic about if you are doing lower tables where you do them. And a lot of times if they're around the perimeter, especially booths, you can put them up on a little curb and start to get those eye levels back where they belong.